And one of the things I think you might have glazed over is the fact that you sent it on September 9th, 2001.
Yep.
2 days later, September 11th happens.
Correct.
I Love New York shirt shows up at shortly thereafter, and it just blows up.
Yes.
So what was it like to be, not only be living in New York, right, at the time, but also be a part of that moment in that way?
So I had my first fashion show September 10th. It was a group show because we as designers, young people couldn't afford a show. Important people like my parents were in the audience. So it's about the whole audiences. And I thought that the next day, like, oh, it's all going to happen for me. And I went to you might laugh, but like Cotton Incorporated has color and cotton seminars.
Okay.
So I was for work, had to go the next morning, and we're in the middle of the seminar, and this woman with a very Southern accent comes in, and she's like, "Oh my God, the towers, they're falling."
No,
and I was like, who is this woman? What towers?
Why are towers falling? Oh, geez.
And then we turned on the news and your life shifted, and my parents were on their way to the airport. So my first thought was, were they in the plane?
Oh, geez.
Cell phone towers were going down. There was lines of payphones. So I waited in line. My mom was like, "You need to get out of here. We got a rental car, like the last one. We're driving basically back home." I said, "No, I'm staying. This is my city." Wow. And right away, I went down to where I knew we could help and support. And so stood outside one of the hospitals. We were just trying to do anything we can. And then later on, with a group of volunteers, we were the only other ones kind of allowed. We were at the site, and my job was to make sure that all the rescue workers were hydrated and had a cot that they could sleep in, some snacks. So I was like the snack and drink lady. And so I did that for the first week, and then my boss at the time was like, "You need to come back to work." And I was like, "How can I come back to work?"
What do you mean?
Yeah, but it was crazy. I mean, you'd go down to the site, and you couldn't see more than a foot in front of your face because of the dust. And it was just like the world had ended. Yeah.
And then, there's all these iconic sort of New York moments where, the Yankees game and all of the things that we all, have see and remember, especially that time of year. And then Jay Leno, The Tonight Show has, your shirt on display.
Yes.
And it was in clear support of all the first responders and everything that had just happened to band the city together.
Correct. So an actress, Jenna Elfman, who was on Dharma and Greg, now she's on Fear the Walking Dead. She wore it, and he said, "I love your shirt. Who is it?" She said my name on national television. And from there, I guess it was phone calls. It wasn't emails really yet. Came in, and, Us Weekly ran it over and over. Lucky Magazine, InStyle, like it just kept running in magazines. And I just kept crediting this one little website, which is, again, e-commerce was very new.
Yeah.
And so that's how the name got out there. It allowed me to call boutiques later on and say, "Hey," I said my name. They're like, "I've heard of you. I don't know why. I guess you could come in and show me what else you got."
Mm-hmm. So that is, what you're doing for 9 months is making those shirts. So did demand trail off, or do you just go, "I'm out"?
Demand didn't trail off. I mean, obviously there was a spike.
Yeah.
And then it sort of petered, but I wanted to focus on my other designs.
Yeah.
I was making everything by hand. This was before bags. And so for about 4 years, I had a very quaint, handmade clothing line. I paid the bills by also being a stylist for photo shoots and stuff. And so that's how I got by, but it was starting to get rough. Like, all right, is this really ever going to go somewhere? Because I can't live like this.
Yeah.
I was about to go take a bartending job or be a receptionist somewhere else. And I just said, what's going to make this pop? And then it was the bag.